Master, we've received another letter. The cultivators of the lakeside gang on Blue Sun Mountain are all dead, and the whole CI family, except their family head, have escaped. Yi Qianqin's eyes lit up, and she did not seem surprised. The person who can kill all the cultivators of the lakeside gang is most likely to be little junior sister. After all, there were not many divine court experts. Those from the top 10 Orthodox sects had no reason to rescue an insignificant family. Only little Yuana had the motive. Send a letter to Evil King. Inform him that the plan remains unchanged and to get ready for action. I understand. Zhou Yu smiled and said, Old Eighth is cheeky enough to call himself the Evil King with his weak cultivation base. Of Ji Tiandao's 9 disciples, Zhu Honggong was only slightly stronger than little Yuana. However, little Yuana had just joined the sect for 5 years, and it would not take her long to surpass him. So, when Zhou Yu heard that their 8th junior brother, who was a little silly, called himself Evil King, she could not help but smile. But Yi Qianqin said, It is not that old 8th is too weak, but that old thing is too strong. What the world knew about Ji Tiandao came from all the amazing feats he had done in those years when he held sway in the world. But only his disciples knew what the feeling of accompanying the old villain was. After the people of the CI family were rescued, they knelt and kowtowed to Lu Zhou to express their gratitude. As expected, he received merit points from the worship of over 100 people. He found that, although many of them kowtowed several times, he did not get extra points, which told him that additional kowtows would not earn him more merit points. One little Yuaner had also reunited with her mother, and that excited her for quite a while. It was a pity that before they could talk further, Lu Zhou asked her to send all the people back to the residence. They still had someone to rescue. Her father was still in the hands of that unknown but formidable cultivator. After the brief battle of Blue Sun Mountain, Morong Hai had a new understanding of little Yuaner. Oh, mister, your granddaughter is probably the youngest 8 Meridians Brahmasi cultivator I've ever seen, and I'm certain that she will step into the divine court realm in less than 3 years, he praised sincerely. Lu Zhou did not say anything, but clasped his hands behind his back and walked away. Twisting her hair with a finger, little Yuaner pointed at Morong Hai and said, Bah! I remember you were scared out of your wits just now. Ugh! Morong Hai looked embarrassed. Oh, you don't think so? Count yourself lucky that you still have some use to us. Otherwise, I would have killed you with a kick now. Morong Hai felt that he really could not handle this moody little girl. He did not understand how he had provoked her, even though he was just praising her. I think I'd better just shut my mouth, he thought to himself. Then he quickened his steps and caught up with Lu Zhou. Her grandfather is kinder and easy to talk to. After walking for a while, Morong Hai could no longer hold back his curiosity, so he asked, Old mister, why did you send the people of the CI family back to their residence? Wouldn't it be a waste of effort if they were kidnapped by someone again? Not waiting for Lu Zhou to answer, Lu Yuaner already said snappily, Idiot! My grandpa has the imperial token, which I've given to them. Morong Hai was almost choked to death by her words. Lu Zhou said calmly, Don't worry, these cultivators' target should not be the CI family. I agree, said Morong Hai while nodding. If they wanted money, they would have asked it, but they didn't, and they did not kill a single hostage, which means what they want is something else. In that case, why did they do this? Right then, little Yuaner pointed at the sky and said, A carrier pigeon. Swoosh! She shot up like a bolt of lightning and caught the bird before bringing it down to the ground. It's from 4th senior brother. Lu Zhou did not ask her to read this time, but beckoned her over. Little Yuaner handed the letter to him, after reading which, he furrowed his brows slightly. What did the letter say, Grandpa? Some trifling matters. With a casual wave of his hand, the letter was pulverized and carried away by the wind. Morong Hai stood to the side in silence, not dare to ask anything about the letter. Looking at the beautiful scenery ahead, Lu Zhou said, Send a letter to Old Fourth and tell him to wait for my return. Oh! From the way they addressed each other, Morong Hai guessed that this pair of grandfather and granddaughter should be from some sect. The world of Great Yin was boundless, and it was perfectly normal to have one or two almighty hermits. Old mister, the head of the CI family doesn't have a seal, so we can't track him. Why don't we just go back? Morong Hai suggested. Zhou gave him a look, and instead of answering, he asked, "Do you know anything about the Imperial token?" "The token belongs to Great Yan's emperor, and can be used to mobilize an Imperial army of 100,000 elites," said Morong Hai. "The army has 8 commanders, who guard the 8 sides of the capital city. It is said that 4 of them are nascent divinity tribulation experts, and are stationed at the north, south, east, and west of the capital, forming the strongest shield. The 8 commanders report directly to the Emperor, and the only thing that can command them besides the Emperor is this token. It has a unique dragon carving, which makes it very easy to identify." Zhou nodded. What he said was basically correct. It was after hearing about its uniqueness that Ji Tiandao had sneaked into the palace and stolen it. Since then, time had passed and circumstances had changed. No matter how stupid the Imperial family was, they would not let a lost token continue to have the ability to muster the Imperial army. Nevertheless, the symbolic meaning of the token remained. "Since you know about this token, why did you still dare to hold Wang Fuguei captive?" With a sad face, Morong Hai said, "I was careless and failed to notice the dragon carving." Zhou did not question him further. Just then, little Yuaner pointed to front and said, "Grandpa, it should be ahead." All right. The 3 of them skirted a lake to an empty field surrounded by mountains. There was no one around. After carefully studying the environment, Zhou said in a deep voice, "Show yourself." No one answered him save for the sound of birds calling in the mountains and woods. For some unknown reasons, Morong Hai felt uncomfortable. A chill ran down his back, and he had a feeling that something bad was about to happen. So he took a step back. Swoosh! Suddenly, the animals and birds in the woods scattered and fled in all directions, while an evil laugh rang out, echoing in the woods. Right then, a black figure flew from the mountains. He had a man held beneath one arm, but he landed slowly like a feather. Morong Hai stepped back some more. What a strong aura. A divine court expert. This is not good. He may be a villain from the Golden Court Mountain. Run for your life. He turned and ran. However, he was not far away when an invisible layer of energy blocked his way. "It's too late to run away now." The black figure's husky voice sounded terrible. "Save me, old mister." Zhou stood unmoving with his hands clasped behind his back. Judging from the fluctuation of the man's aura, he was stronger than an 8 meridians Brahmasi expert. He should be a divine court expert. Zhou did not think that this man was worthy of him, using a peak form experience card. The man's long black hair had covered his cheeks, making it difficult for anyone to see his face. "The fact that you managed to escape the trap at Blue Sun Mountain proves that you are pretty strong. But unfortunately, that is far from enough. A 2 apertures mystic enlightening cultivator, an 8-tier body tempering cultivator." Through the gap between his hair, the man glanced at Morong Hai and Zhou, and then his eyes rested on little Yuaner. "An 8 meridians Brahmasi cultivator. TSK, this seems like a fair deal." Little Yuaner's eyes lit up, and she chuckled. This one should last a little longer. The man roared with laughter. Little Yuaner was about to rush up, but Zhou raised his hand and stopped her. While stroking his beard, he said, "You are too impatient. He's merely a divine court cultivator. You will have your chance to fight." "Oh!" Morong Hai was speechless. Old Mr. looks kind in terms of looks, but why is he so arrogant in speech? Is it because he has a granddaughter who has opened all 8 meridians of the Brahmasi realm? "Do you know who you're talking to, old thing?" The black figure raised a hand and pointed at Zhou. "The 3 Yin styles of the Taoist societies." Zhou's tone remained calm. That gave the man a pause, and he moved his eyes from little Yuaner to Zhou. His intuition told him that this old man was not an 8-tier body tempering cultivator, but had used some means to conceal his aura, and the fact that he could tell his sect with a glance proved that he was not as simple as he looked. "Who are you?" "You are practicing a reverse breathing method, which absorbs the energy essence of the heaven and earth through the Laogong acupoints in your arms and accumulates them in your dantian. The method is very easy to master, but it has a flaw. Your bones will be filled with chills, and you'll be in extreme pain for at least 10 days a month. Zhou paused before continuing. You only have 3 months left to live. Hearing that, the man was taken aback. There were numerous cultivators in this world, and each one of them had their own secrets. Furthermore, they regarded the flaw in their cultivation techniques as the most important secret. Over the past 2 decades, he had poured in all his effort to cultivate the 3 Yin styles, which had made him a formidable divine court expert. However, the greater the gains were, the greater the cost would be. The price he had to pay was suffering the pain from the chills in his body. How did this old man know about it? He pushed away a lock of hair that fell from his forehead and stared at Zhou with a pair of eyes as large as that of a cow. Let me ask you again, who are you? His tone grew cold and dark. Zhou and little Yuan remained standing as if nothing had happened, but Hai peed in his pants again and slumped to the ground. What a scary voice. He must be a villain of Golden Court Mountain. Zhou went on according to what he found in his memory. When you betrayed the Tao societies, you had only learned the 3 Yin styles but not the 6 Yang techniques. The extreme cold needs to be balanced with the extreme Yang. It is a miracle that you are still alive today. The 6 Yang technique? The man asked doubtfully. Why haven't you heard of it? At that moment, the man suddenly burst into laughter and his voice shook the mountains. How dare you deceive me with nonsense, old man? Just as he said that, the man, wrapped in a freezing wind, leaped over like a savage beast and threw a punch toward Zhou's face. The sudden attack shocked Zhou. Bam! The great waves lifted by the wind were blocked, and so was the punch. For a moment, the world fell completely silent. When the dust settled, the man saw that his thunderous attack was not blocked by the seemingly weak and frail old man, but the little girl with a playful smile. Little Yuan had stopped his fist with a palm, and she said, You have to ask me before attacking my grandpa. What? Isn't she an 8 meridians Brahma seed cultivator? He thought, as a trace of surprise appeared on his face. Even Hai, who was slumped to the ground, looked at the scene with a blank face and felt his view of the world, life, and values collapse. Why is she so strong? Was she pretending to be a pig to prey on the tiger? Her acting is so good. Bam! A sharp and powerful blast of energy exploded out of little Yuan and drove the man back, as she no longer concealed her aura. To the attacker's surprise, she was a genuine divine court cultivator. In fact, even if Liu Yuan did not stop him, the man could not hurt Zhou because he still had 7 critical block cards. Nevertheless, it was good for her to do that, for it saved him a card. A divine court cultivator at this young age? How is this possible? The man's voice sounded full of surprise. Little Yuan cracked her knuckles as she looked back and said with a fierce desire to fight on her face, Grandpa, I want to fight him. Do as you wish. After getting Zhou's permission, little Yuan smiled even more happily. She beckoned the man with a finger and said, I haven't met such a strong opponent as you in a long time. You must hold on for a little longer. Why does this sound so weird? A little girl is provoking a monster. Zhou thought while shaking his head. Never mind. It's also a good idea to fight before talking. Meanwhile, little Yuan darted forward, stepping on her tiptoe over the blades of grass like a dragonfly skimming the water surface. In the next instant, she kicked the man from the side. Bam! 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 Just like that, they locked each other in a fierce fight. She's so fast. The man reflexively lifted both arms to block. Bam! 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 A series of kicks landed onto his arms, and a great power forced him to keep stepping back into the woods, breaking trees along the way. The power was simply amazing. Zhou went up to little Yuan's father, who was lying on the ground, and briefly examined him. Fortunately, he had just passed out and wasn't hurt. She's always unable to control her temper, said Zhou when he saw Hai's pale face. Is this a matter of temper? She's totally a fiend out of rain. Hai did not know whether to laugh or cry. He wanted to stand up, but he found that his legs were weak, and he could not move them at all. Old mister, since you have such a strong granddaughter, why did you pretend to be weak? The world is full of treacherous people. We have to be wary of them, said Lu Zhou. "You are a wise man, old mister. No wonder you were so confident in rescuing the CI family. I've underestimated you." Morong Hai calmed himself down. The two of them chatted leisurely while Little Yuaner and the black-clothed man fought fiercely. On the surface, they seemed to have reached a deadlock. But in fact, Liu Yuana had the upper hand since the beginning. Anyone with a discerning eye could easily see that she did it on purpose. She just wanted to fight a little longer and exercise a little more. Staying on the mountain for too long had bored her. Now that she finally had an opponent to relax with, how could she miss the opportunity? The sounds of energy colliding with one another rang without end. Morong Hai was greatly shocked as he watched them fight. He found it hard to believe that those powerful energy blasts were coming from a weak-looking little girl. "Oh, mister," he cupped his fist toward Lu Zhou and said, "I have a question, but I don't know if I should ask." "Bring it on." "You're also hiding your strength, right?" Morong Hai had long suspected it. He did not believe Lu Zhou could tame a little devil like this just by his personality and kinship. Lu Zhou gave him a look without admitting or denying, but Morong Hai took that as a confirmation. Since his granddaughter is a divine court expert, he must also be a divine court expert at the very least. At the thought of that, he hurriedly cupped his fist and said, "Old mister is really an almighty expert." "I'm not an expert yet." Lu Zhou waved his hand. Morong Hai was greatly impressed, and he thought, I didn't expect him to be so humble when his granddaughter is so moody and hot-tempered. "Old mister, if I may say one more thing." "What is it?" "The child is amazingly gifted, and with her cultivation base reaching the peak, her future is limitless. It's a pity that she hasn't fully understood the proper way of dealing with people." Lu Zhou looked up at Little Yuaner, who was fighting in the distance. He knew about her temper and character very well. It would take more than just a few days to teach her that. "You are right. I've been thinking about how to teach her the way of dealing with people recently." He was telling the truth. Old mister is truly a wise man. The child is fortunate to have you teaching her. Boom, boom, boom. The black-clothed man's face was covered with dust, and he kept coughing as energy blasts struck him continuously. It did not take long for him to fall to the ground and stop moving. "Let's continue," said Little Yuana smilingly. "Hey, get up now. That was a good move you just made. Come on, let's fight again." Their battle had broken all the nearby trees and riddled the ground with holes of varying sizes. "This is so boring," said Little Yuana when she saw the man not move anymore. "Cough, cough." The black-clothed man raised his hands and waved them as he said with difficulty, I don't want to fight anymore." That was when Lu Zhou rose to his feet while smiling. "It looks like they've had enough fighting." "Very good. Congratulations, old mister. Now that all the people of the CI family have been rescued, this journey is finally over," said Morong Hai. Lu Zhou shook his head as he looked at the man lying on the ground and said, "It's not over. On the contrary, this is just the beginning." "Ah. What do you say, Panjong?" The black-clothed man shuddered. "How do you know my name?" "Let's return to the topic just now." Lu Zhou walked forward slowly and said, "You could have lived another 3 months. Do you want to die now?" "What?" Panjong's heart trembled, and he did a backward flip. Dust fell off his body, but his face was still filthy, and he was having difficulty standing straight. "I didn't expect this little girl's cultivation base to be so profound, but she is still not strong enough to kill me." Panjong looked at Liu Yuaner warily. They had fought over a few hundred rounds, and he was being attacked like a practice target all the while. If truth be told, he wished to turn around and run away right now. The true power of the 3 Yin styles can only be brought out with the help of the 6 Yang technique. You've only learned the 3 Yin styles, and that's why you can't get its essence, Lu Zhou said. "Why have I never heard about the so-called 6 Yang technique?" Little Yuaner spat as she rolled her eyes and said, "What's so good about this 6 Yang technique? My grandpa knows countless cultivation techniques." "Countless?" Right then, whistles could be heard approaching from the distance. Everyone could tell that those were the sound of swords flying across the air. The group of unknown cultivators came in a threatening manner in great numbers, and many of them had profound cultivation bases. A voice rang out before the people could be seen. We haven't seen each other in a long time, little junior sister. A crimson flying chariot approached from the distant sky, followed by dozens of cultivators, who poured over rapidly like floodwater.